What up, guys? Part 4 of the 100 mile per hour for our $100 car build. Bodies. So, I picked this body up off a buddy of mine, David Nugent. You can find him on eBay. He sells his bodies. 190 millimeter body is what you're going to need. And type in Fortec body, HPI body. All his bodies show up. They're already painted like this one. So, I was going to run this body. But I'm actually thinking after I hit 100 miles per hour. For now, I'm going to try to keep this build as cheap as possible. So we're going to put that body to the side. And I believe I'm going to run the stock body it comes with. Comes with it, so that's no extra charge. $100 with the body. Paint it up, throw it on there. I'm pretty sure this body will do 100 miles per hour. Any more than that, I don't know, guys. It is very flexible, as you'll see here. It's very weak, so we're probably going to have to fiberglass it or shoe glue and drywall tape or something like that. Someone was showing me the other day he used Gorilla Tape on the inside of his, and it was actually very sturdy, so might even try that. Since it's a budget build, why not? Alright, guys, so last video we put the motor in. ESC is just sitting on there. I'm going to use some double-sided tape and just tape it in there just like that. And now Servo and Shocks, guys. So I decided to stick with the theme. $12 for a 2075 servo. This is what they put in the Traxxas Slash. Way bigger car, way heavier car, and it does just fine. Unless you're racing or something like that, but for bashing does just fine. It comes in the Fortec also, which the Fortec is heavier than this car. So this servo will do just fine. If you wanted to go get a different one, or you want to stay on budget and go to Amazon and get one of these 20 kgs, you don't need a 20. Get like an 8 kg, a 10 kg, 12 kg, whatever they have. These are pretty cheap. I think this was like 25 bucks, and it's got a lot of torque. Slow speed, but a lot of torque. So you want as much torque as possible, but for a car like this that's so light, you really don't need, and it's so easy to turn this thing, guys. With the foams even, it's going to be easy for this ESC, or I'm sorry, this servo to do. So we're going to stick with the Traxxas theme. One of the reasons I like the Traxxas thing is so readily available. You can get a Valenia motor, ESC, and servo anywhere. 85 bucks for the servo and motor, all over on eBay. I looked today. $12 for this on eBay and Jenny's RC and other places. So right there, you got $100 in electronics, a $100 car, and that's basically it, guys. So for $200, you're going to have yourself a speedrun car. Now, there's some other things. Of course, I'm not counting in the receivers and your remote. That, you know, if you're already into RC, you have that. If you don't, then you're going to have to foot the bill for that. But the good thing is you can use your remote, get a decent brand, and then you can use several receivers for it. Like the ones I use have, I believe they hold 40 or 50 different cars. So, shocks, servo, diff. I brought out my diff fluid, but you know what? I got to thinking about it. I told you guys before, the front is locked on this thing. And it's grinding right now because it's still, everything's still loose. All the screws aren't in there yet. But the front's locked. The rear is not. The rear seems like it might have maybe 20,000 CST in it. And I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to mess with it. That'll be part of the testing and tuning. If I go right now and lock it and put $1 million in there or $2 million, and then I don't like the way it feels, I'm going to have to come out and rip it all out and scoop all that $1 million out. So I'm going to keep it the way it is, guys. Like I said, I think there's about 20,000 CST in there right now, and I think that'll be plenty. I think that'll be good. So with the front being locked, we're going to leave it like that for right now. The big thing is the shocks, guys. We're going to do the shocks. And as you can see, the front is very soft. The rear isn't so much. So I don't know what kind of shock fluid they have in there. Easiest way to do it, you could either go fill it up with some 90 weight or 100 weight shock fluid in the back, and it'll make them really rigid and stiff. But what I'm going to do, I don't like that much shock play in the back. So I'm going to go ahead and put some tubing on there and cause it not to go up and down at all. I want the back pretty much locked. It'll have a little bit, but not much. I'm going to loosen these droop screws real quick, guys. So guys that are new to speed running or even RC, these screws right here, these grub screws, let's see if I can get a better picture. Those right there move your A-arm up and down. It'll lift your suspension or raise your suspension. As you'll see, as I'm tightening them, you'll see this will start to go up. There it goes. So now, one wheel is going to touch way before the other one. We'll mess with that in a little bit. For right now, the shocks we'll get to messing with. The front, I don't want a 90 in there. I don't even want, I don't want 100. So, that leaves these. Most of my cars, I run a 60 in them in the front. This car, I believe I'm going to do the same thing. I thought I had some 45 or 50. I might have some 50. If I have 50, that's what I think I'm going to go with. But for right now, we'll run 60 and see what happens, guys. Shock fluid is just like everything else. You're going to have so many different manufacturers, and it's the same exact thing. The CST has to be the same. Let's see if I have some 50 real quick. If not, hey, I got some 47.5. That might just work. But we're going to throw those in the front shocks. The rear shocks, we're going to leave alone because we're going to put tubing in there. I thought I had it already out for this video, but apparently I didn't. Alright, I'll have to find the tubing that I'm going to use, guys. Tube the back, front, let's go with a 60. So, different from other cars with the shocks. If you're not racing a car, you don't need to sit there and watch the videos on how to do the shock oil and, you know, let them sit for 20 minutes, vibrate them to get all the air out of them. You just don't even need to go through that, guys. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take off this wheel real quick just so I can show you how I get these shocks off. So they're on by a ball cup. You take some scissors. These are my curved scissors. You put them behind there and you just pop it out and it should pop right off. We'll see. Sometimes they're a pain. Let me see from the top here. There we go. Pops right off. Then you could just pop the bottom off. See that? There's no screws. I mean, you could loosen these balls from the back side, but it's going to take way too long. So this is what we're going to do for now, guys. These shocks are actually, surprisingly, they're very nice. I'm really surprised at the quality of this car. I was looking at a Serpent 411 the other day in a hobby shop, and a lot of the pieces looked almost identical to this. It was really crazy that Hobby King would sell this car for as cheap as they do. So let's take these shocks apart real quick, guys, and see if we can get this top to screw off. It's kind of stuck on there. I don't want to scratch them up too bad. But sometimes you got to do what you got to do to get them off. Sorry this isn't on video. It's a pain in the butt to do it in front of me while the camera's right there. But we'll get it. Alright, I got it loosened up. So, I had to put inside here, there's an octagon in there so you can hook up to it. Loosen it. The top wants to slide around because it's plastic. So it just spins, but the rest of the cups don't. So what I'm doing, I'm putting some needle nose inside of there to hold that plastic piece. And then on the top right here, real careful because I don't want to scratch it. You guys, a lot of places tell you to put some tape inside there, inside your needle nose to do this. They're just not wanting to come loose, and they are very, very tight on there. So I'm going to take them completely apart, take the shocks off, or the springs off. Just going to compress it. Pull this plastic piece off somehow after I loosen it back up. That's one reason I really didn't like my Forte, guys. These little cards are a pain for these tiny little parts. And I don't have sausage fingers or nothing, but a pain to get these little things off. All right. So that piece is wanting to come off loose, and this top piece is so on there. I might just have to heat it up. So what I'm saying is this piece is plastic, this piece is aluminum, and this is all aluminum. This piece up top just spins. It will not spin with the cap. So I'm going to have to get some clamps on there. And honestly, I don't care personally about scratching them because the first time out they're going to get scratched. Some of you guys might. So take your time and do it. But me, I'm going to put some vice grips on there and I'm going to loosen this bad boy and get it done and over with. If it'll come. Man, those are super, super tight. I don't know why they would do that. Alright. After I just scratched the hell out of the bottom of them. So you don't want to grab them on the threads either, guys, because you want it to be able to turn back up. I grabbed it down here. Like I said, I'm not worried about the scratches. I don't even know if they're filled with oil. They sure are. So what we're going to do is, got this old Savox case, all my oils and stuff like that, I just dump in there. So the difference between us and racers that go out to the track every weekend, like I said, I don't care about bubbles and all that stuff. I'm going to fill it up. To where it's right at the line. Move it up and down a couple times just to get the main air bubbles out. There's still, these guys that race, you know, dirt and A-main and stuff, they just sit there for 30 minutes letting the bubbles get out, and I'm not worried about that because I don't care about all the rebound and all that stuff. So there we go. I filled it a little full, but that's good because it's going to leak out right now when I go put the cap on. And we'll just wipe it off. Perfect. That's what I like. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and waste the time waiting for the air bubbles and all that to come out. It's not worth it for me, and we don't use it like they do. We're not going over crazy jumps, and if your road is that bad, guys, I'd suggest maybe looking into another road. Because these little 10 scale cars aren't going to like that at all. So I'm going to take the next one apart real quick, and then I'll come back. Alright guys, got the second one. I don't know why Sun RC would have made them that tight. It's ridiculous how tight these caps are on these things, guys. It's just too much. I started to say Hobby King, but I forgot this is a Sun RC car. Hobby King's just selling it, so. So here we go, shock number 1. Don't go in all the way, right? Shock number 2 goes in no problem. All that is you have a little more fluid in this one than that one. So what we're going to do is, like I said, guys, I'm not really worried about the shocks like a racer would. I'm going to let a little fall out. Throw the cap back on. We'll see what happens here. There we go. That's it. They don't have to be all scientific or, you know, NASA engineer to figure this out. It's very easy. Speedrunning is a lot different than dirt stuff, guys. So, we're going to take the springs, pop them back on. As all you probably know, you take the cup and you shove it on there. Bam. Feels pretty good with the 60 weight in there, guys. Like I said, the weights are all the same. I'm using this Mugen stuff. Or I'm sorry, Team Associated Pure Silicone. It's all the same though. Just like if you go to AutoZone and buy some 30 weight for your car, 10 weight 30, it's all going to be the same no matter if it's Castrol or Mobil 1. It's all the same CST, or the all same weight, so. Alright guys, got them together. I'm going to tune them all the way down to the bottom as far as I can go. That's about it. That way they're nice and tight. I'll show you how I pop them on. There's a couple scratches on there now. Not a lot, but honestly, I didn't care. These are $7, guys, for these shocks. This is a nice car, but I'm sure there's going to be a couple trial and errors with it. So I'm going to put it on the ball right there. I'm going to take my needle nose, and I'm just going to snap it on there. Just like that. I'm going to do the other side now. Just like that. Swing it down. Now for the A-arms, where it connects to the A-arms right there, I'll probably have to snap it on by hand unless I can fit these somewhere. Let me see. Oh, there we go. They fit right in there. So we'll get this one on. And then I'll probably have to pause this video for a minute, guys, to go find the tubing that I'm going to use. And you can use zip ties. There's several ways to do this, guys. This one's going to be in a pain. Let me get it on there. There we go. You know what? That's why I'm putting it on the wrong side. So on these ball ends, the plastic pieces, there's a wider side and there's a skinnier side. Make sure you put it on the wider side so it pops on easier. That was easy. Go ahead and put my wheel back on. Surprised, very surprised that the hex didn't come off with the wheel. These hexes are just, I hate them. Every time you take the wheels off, you got to pop them out of the wheel. And then the pin comes falling out. Just sucks. But oh yeah, a lot tighter, guys. A lot tighter. So, 60 weight in the front. Let me pause this video real quick and get that fuel tubing. Alright guys, we're back. Fuel tubing. Pretty in pink. Don't matter because you're not really going to see them. So you can find this at any hobby shop. You can go to Home Depot. They have a hard plastic type one, and then they have one for fridges. It's clear in color. It'll work also. Like I said, you can use zip ties. There's several different methods. Whatever you want to come up with, that's on you. So same thing. I'm going to pop the rears off with my scissors. Hopefully they come right off. There we go. Same thing here. Just going to put it underneath that ball, leave them open like that, and I'm just going to spin. And hopefully they come off. There we go. There we go. Here's the rear. It's pretty tight the way it is, but we don't want that rear sagging. The reason being, your car's sitting like this going down the road. You start sagging that rear, the front will come up, catch air, and then you're toast. So that's why we put the front all the way down to the ground and the back all the way up. Face down, ass up. Alright, here we go. So I'm going to take this, that silver piece in there. I'm going to kind of measure it out, eyeball it, and then mark it with a Sharpie. Make a little line there. Then I'm going to grab my vice grips. And I know a lot of guys are going to cringe when I do this, but I don't care because I'm not going to be using these shocks to go up and down. They are just on there to hold the back on. I'm going to loosen this up. Cut my fuel tubing at that spot. Throw it on there real quick. If I can, get some needle nose on there. Slide it down. Grab from up here. Slide it all the way down. Just like that, guys. Now, I am going to take it back off because you want both sides to be the exact same size. And that cut isn't perfect, so I'm going to make a solid cut. And I'm going to cut them the exact same size. If one's not, then one side's going to sag and the other isn't. So, one's a little longer. I'm going to take a little more off that. And when I say same exact size, guys, you want them real close. Like that. You don't want one where it's like 5 millimeters bigger than the other one. If it's a millimeter, we're not worried about that much. So again, I'm going to put... And if you got shock tools to grab this, go for it. I'm just doing this real quick, guys, to show you guys. I actually have a lot of cars I'm working on to get ready for this weekend. So I'm just throwing this together real quick. I actually would love to take this out this weekend, tell you the truth. If I can get that body fiberglassed up by this weekend, then I'll do it. I'll take it out there. Sometimes you have to take the cap off and hold the nut in here, or sometimes you can squeeze this tubing. Sometimes it wants to rip. Hopefully it don't this time. And it's just spinning. So I'm going to have to take this top off, and the way Sun RC does it, this is going to be a pain. So again, I'm going to grab down here where there's no threads. I'm going to try my hardest not to jack it up too much, but man, they just do it so tight. I don't understand why they did that. So inside there, oh, there's no nut inside this one. Man, I don't want to have to drain these things. Let me see if one of those emulsion holes are big enough. Yeah, I really don't want to have to drain it out and refill it, guys. You know what? If that's what we got to do, that's what we got to do. Oops. It's alright. Give me a chance to put some 90 in there anyways. But there's nothing to really hold on to in here. Normally there's a nut in there. These E-clip ones are really a pain. So I'm going to try to see if I can grab it right there on the silver that's left. If not, it's okay. We'll just have to take the whole thing apart. Let's see if it's spinning. No, it's not spinning, so hopefully I got a nice good grip on it. There we go. Alright, guys. One down, one to go. Now, a buddy of mine a while ago showed me this, and I thought it was pretty cool. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys. He took some heat shrink, cut it into a little piece. Two of them, one for each shock. What you do, you put it around right here so it won't ever rip. Heat this up. There you go. Now your tubing won't rip and it's more rigid. So, alright, time to fill it up with 90 weight, which will be better for it anyway. So, oh, it's a brand new one. There we go. Spin it around, try to move it a couple times just to get a little air bubbles. It's not going to go up too much, maybe a couple millimeters, but we really don't need the oil in there. But just in case these do break, we're going to be in trouble if there's no shock oil in there, guys. Because then the rebound will go all the way down and we'll be screwed. So, hopefully, I left enough room to get this cup in here. We'll see right now. If not, we'll have to cut a little bit of this off. But that's fine because it's not going to stop it from going up and down anymore because the cup piece is going to be there. So we're just going to go around with our scissors. I think the best thing would be grab a razor blade. Just go around in a circle. And you're just cutting enough for that cup. Now on the other one, I'll have to do the same thing. So before I put it on, I'll just go ahead and cut it. There we go. Now I'll be able to put the spring on. It's been a while since I've done this, guys, since I've used the tubing. Usually I'll just put it real solid, but there you go. Now we'll tighten that bad boy down. Tighten that spring down all the way. And this one's done. So it's going to have a little bit of rebound. And then it stops. So if it wants to sag, it can sag, but it can only go so much and then it locks up. So that one's done. Here's the next one. I'm going to go ahead and trim off the same amount that I cut off. So about that much. I'll pause the video and I'll come back, guys. Alright, guys. We got them both done now with the fuel tube inside there. We got them evenly compressed, the springs. Just enough play. That's all we want, guys. So, here we go. We're going to throw those bad boys on there. We'll set up the droop screws, and then we'll install the servo. Or maybe tomorrow we'll do another video with the servo, guys. Like I said, I'm trying to get my cars ready for this weekend also. But a lot of people have been asking me about this. And I want to be able to help them out. Help you guys out as much as possible. Really happy, honestly. I got a hold of Hobby King. Crossing my fingers I got something working with them. But they sold out of this car in 4 days, guys. 212 of them in 4 days. That's pretty cool. They were pretty happy about it. They put in a big order for more of them. So hopefully guys that are waiting to do this, they'll come in. I think they might have some of the red ones first, but the red ones are the exact same thing, just red carbon fibers. Kind of look really cool. So let me clean all this oil up before it gets all over my foams, guys. Alright, guys. So we got the shocks done now. Rear, stiff. Front, not so stiff, but stiff enough to where if it goes over a little bump, it's going to suck it up. That wheel's going to suck it up if it has to. The back will suck it up. Look at that. Just enough. And then it locks. So just enough. We don't need it bouncing around. That's why I don't lock them all the way. I keep them like this. That way they have just enough. So, there we go, guys. Shocks are done. The droop screws that I was talking about earlier, we're not going to mess with until we put the body on. That's when you bring it down. One thing that I do like to do is take me some Sharpies. Put them underneath the front of the body, and I'll show you that on another video. And I bring the body down to the Sharpies. That's as low to the ground as I want it. Then I tighten my droop screws till it goes all the way down to the Sharpies, and that's it. That's how I set my bodies, guys. I've always done them at that height, and it's done good for me. So, shocks are done. Like I said, we're not going to mess with the diffs. I'll get all the screws back in this thing, and I'm going to start working on some of my other stuff right now. We'll get that servo in there tomorrow. Big shout out to Castle Creations, man. I thank you very much for getting me on my stuff. Really happy. I got lots of stuff back from them, and I couldn't be more thankful to Thomas. I appreciate you, bro. That's really cool. I got plenty of ESCs now. I have an XLX2 for every car now, and a Model ES for every car if I wanted it. So, pretty cool. I'll be getting all these ready tomorrow. I soldered up all my Mamba XLX2s today, so those are ready to go. tomorrow I'll be soldering some of these up and getting them out, except for the X. I don't know what I'm going to do with this thing. I don't know. Me and that ESC just don't get along. I prefer the Model Monster 2 over that, but that's another story. So guys, here we go. We're good. Tomorrow we'll install the servo. If you want to go ahead and install it, go for it. As you know, it goes in there, just like that. Sits down inside here. We'll take some double mounting tape, or double-sided tape, mount that down, and we'll be just about there, man. Ready to start testing and sending it out there and seeing what it'll do, guys. So thank you for watching again. Hopefully tomorrow and the next day I'll do a video and we'll finish this car up and we'll get it down the road and we'll see what we can do with it. I do want to make somewhere to hold the GPS on here. Whether I have something on the back, a piece of carbon fiber, something. Somewhere to hide it or hold it. Maybe there will be a spot in here after we put the servo, but I don't know. I think it's going to be somewhere like that. So we'll have to figure out a spot to put that GPS, guys. Maybe we can put it up here, or I don't know. We'll figure it out. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you guys join the 3S challenge too with the Armas. If you have an Arma, join that challenge. Let's see what everybody out there is doing and just kind of bring the fun back to the RC, guys. Thank you for watching. God bless you. I'm out. Peace.